What's up my people, my name is Spicy and today I have 4 stories coming out of the subreddit idontworkherelady. We are close to 2500 subscribers, and to thank you for this amazing journey, I am giving away 4 Amazon gift cards once we reach the 2500 subscribers mark. I have not yet decided if it will be $25 gift cards or $50 gift cards, but to participate in the giveaway, you need to subscribe to the channel and like this video, and if you're having fun here, just leave a fire emoji in the comments. Congratulations Why Me for the comment of the day. Ma'am, our staff don't wear bow ties. This goes back a few weeks back. I was working at a men's clothing store in a shopping center. I was wearing leather shoes, black trousers, white shirt and a black bow tie. After my shift, I run down to the supermarket to grab a few things, listening to music with my headphones. Walking down an aisle with a shopping basket in hand, I hear someone yelling over the top of my music. I feel someone tap my shoulder. I turn to a woman yelling at me. I take my headphones off and she yells in my face. "Hey mate, I ask you a question. Why are you listening to music while working? Where are the suits? Where is your manager?" I was in disbelief at first, was not sure what was going on. The supermarket I was in was a huge chain in Australia and all the staff wore red shirts. Definitely not bow ties. I don't work here. Lies! This will only make matters worse. Do you want me to go get your manager? I had time and wanted her to embarrass herself. Okay, go get my manager. I'll be here. The woman turns around and walks off. I thought there was no way. As I was looking for stuff in the aisle, sure enough, she walks up to me laughing with the manager, who, mind you, is wearing a red shirt, no tie or anything. Here he is. Manager looks at me and smiles and just says, "Ma'am, our staff does not wear bow ties." I burst out laughing. The woman's face looked like it was about to catch fire. It was so red and she just yells, "You two are jokers! This is going to the top! This is not over!" She turned around and walked away without her trolley full of groceries. The manager and I were just standing there in disbelief yet again. I just hope she found some soup elsewhere. Karens are crazy! What's up with you, Karen? Why are you acting up like that? If you are so much in a rush to get your things, why do you even take the time to find a manager? Like, you need to walk around and look for one. Such a waste of time. Lady curses me out in a language I can't understand in stores I don't work at. I work inside a mall, but it's for one of the food drink areas. I went to the mall I work for on my day off looking for a new pair of jeans and to browse some makeup at Sephora. Since Sephora was more close to me than H&M or PacSun, I went inside to do some browsing. I don't know if this is every Sephora, but the Sephora employees here are in some type of red and black dress, and the men are in all black button-downs, pants and shoes. I was in ripped jeans, a light hoodie, Vans, had AirPods in, that letter I take off somewhere in the process, had a Donny and Borg bag on my shoulder, and a large cup with my drink in my hand. As I was browsing to see if anything new caught my eye, I hear a lady yell, "Excuse me!" And I had thought she was yelling for an employee. The lady came right next to me and shoved my arm. I shrugged it off as a rude way to get me to move from where I was so she could see what was there. I also got to see she was a short Asian lady. I am also Asian. As soon as I try to move and walk off, she grabs me and asks where I thought I was going. I had replied with, "I am going to look over there since you wanted me to move." She looked at me dead in the eyes and told me, "No, you're not. You helped me. I waited on you to do your BS." I stared right back at this point and told her, "Ma'am, I don't work at Sephora. Either the woman in the black and red dresses or man in all black can help you." And I walked out of Sephora thinking that would be the end of it and I'd come back another day. Boy, I was wrong. I had gone into H&M to start looking for a cheap pair of jeans, since I just needed ones without holes for work, and surprise, surprise, the same lady walks in with no Sephora bag a little while later. She came up to me again with phone in hand to show me a photo. She looks at me and demanded that I find that for her. At this point, I was rolling my eyes and telling her I neither work at Sephora or H&M. Next thing you know, she is going off in a language I understand about how they I roll my eyes at a paying customer. I was rude to her in one store already and now I'm being a little girl in another. This mall employee should be fired and she knows I work all over the mall, so I need to shut up and just help her. At that point, I had already grabbed a pair of jeans I knew would fit me and I was ready to leave. I knew she was not completely wrong about me working in the mall, but hey, I've been told me on off days and the me that is at work look like two completely different people. Plus, other mall employees did not recognize me, so I thought, why not? Before I proceeded to respond in the same language. I don't know how many times I need to tell you this, but I don't work at either of the stores you followed me to. I don't care about what you're looking for, and you can ask people with lanyard with "Can I help you on it?" or back in Sephora, the people who are in uniform. Watch what you say. She looked at me, stunned. I went over to hop in line to pay for my jeans, proceeded to pay, and stormed out there as fast as I could. She came into my workplace maybe 2 weeks later, and sure enough, she could not recognize me since I had no makeup on and had a hat on. Not your average I don't work here lady. My wife just called me leaving the Bullseye store, saying, "You are never going to believe what just happened to me." We had just gotten back from eating out for a celebration dinner, so we were a bit more dressed up than usual, and she had run over to the store for some errands. What am I wearing? Oh, I like this game. No, seriously, do you remember what I am wearing? A red dress shirt and khaki? Oh no. It's not exactly what you're thinking, but you're going to love this. This particular store is undergoing renovations, meaning that there are numerous aisles extra tight and you can't fit more than one cart down it at a time. This means my wife has been parking her cart and walking down the food aisles with her arms crossed, browsing for cereal, chips, etc. She noticed employees were acting strangely. She would see them chatting, restocking shelves, and as she approached on her prowl for food, they'd suddenly be quiet and seem to be working extra hard tonight, and would offer her a professional good evening as she walked past. Strange, she thought, but she figured they were just being extra professional. After about 50 minutes of odd glances from the employees, she was starting to feel uncomfortable. She noticed they had formed some sort of pack, employee pack or EP, and were whispering amongst themselves. Suddenly, the bravest of the bunch, Employee M or EM, seemed to be nominated from the EP and walked over to my wife. "Excuse me ma'am, are you LOD tonight?" "You're what?" "Our lead on duty. Do you work here?" She's looking down at what she is wearing. Face palm. No, I'm just a customer." The employee man looks back at the employee pack and shakes his head. The employee pack breaks out in laughter and goes back to work. "Aha, whoops. Well, that's a lovely shirt you have. It's not Bullseye's red, but a nice rosy red." He is just digging himself a hole. Thanks, have a good night." And she walks away quickly. She then proceeds to finish up her shopping, and now the employees are all snickering as she walks past them. When she finally got to the checkout, she sees the actual lead on duty, who is in a red dress shirt and the only other person in the store in khakis. Just wow, I love this story. For once, we have a story where the person who mistakes someone else as an employee actually thinks she's a manager or someone higher up and worthy of respect. This is such a nice change of pace from these crazy stories. I love it. When the government picks a hotline number that's way too close to your own. This is a story that takes place over a couple of years or so it will require some explanation. Strap in everyone. To begin with, I am Singaporean, born and raised in this fine city of ours. For those who does not know, Singapore gained independence against its will in 1965, which means that 2015 was our semi-centennial national day. And naturally, our government went all out for that year's celebration, which actually extended into the years beyond and included several bonuses for Singaporean citizens, including a free logo set for all students and some cash handouts. One such handout was announced in 2017 as part of the NS15 Recognition Package, a program to mark 50 years of national service, or plain conscription as some might call it. This took the form of a $100 voucher mailed out to all past and present servicemen that could be spent on almost anything from supermarkets to McDonald's and even Singapore Airlines. As one might imagine, getting the word and details of such a generous handout to everyone in the country would be a bit difficult, seeing as how we still have old men alive today who are eligible for the voucher but might not even be capable of speaking any of our 4 official languages, let alone reading or writing them. As such, the government picked a toll-free hotline for people to call if they wanted information on their vouchers, in addition to the website and newspaper articles they printed. Coincidentally, this 1800 number just so happened to be identical to my family's home landline, with the exception of the preceding 1800, which signified that it was a toll-free hotline. Unfortunately, this hotline was so swamped with calls, not only from people asking for details about their vouchers, but from people who had yet to receive their vouchers and wanted to yell at whatever civil worker they could reach to hurry up. But for the particularly phone literate and ingenious, there was a ray of hope. If they replaced the 1800 string with a certain order number, they might be able to reach the hotline and circumvent the 1800 number's queue. They would have to pay for their call then, but surely that was nothing compared to potentially gaining a free $100. Unfortunately for us, then, that replacing that 1800 number with that certain order number got those people our home landline. And so we soon found ourselves similarly swapped with calls during all business hours. At home. Did you want to enjoy a warm lunch at home on a peaceful day? Too bad, you're now the target for the ire of countless pissed off citizens who want to demand their money and more. They will scream at you for not speaking their language. They will demand to talk to your manager when you can't magically put up their enlisted records on your computer. When you tell them you've got the wrong number, they will apologize, hang up, and dial your number again, somehow expecting a different result, and then they will get pissed at you. As soon as you hang up and go back to your now cold lunch, there the phone goes again, ringing off the hook. At first, we tried to help the first few callers as much as any layman could. Just wait, they're sending out the vouchers in batches. As long as you have served national service and have an up-to-date address registered with the government, you would get your voucher eventually. They are valid until the 31st of December 2018, so you will have plenty of time to spend them. But of course, these people would always have problems or questions we could not answer, and then they will get pissed that we are not government workers. So, between 2017 and 2018, all of us living with this landline receive a front row seat to the shit show that people put on when there's a free money on the line. I lost count of the number of times I picked up the phone to answer someone who started rattling off their personal information without so much as a confirmation that I was even a call center employee. Eventually, my father started unplugging the phone for hours at a time, just to avoid the deluge. For a year and a half, we lived with this. Our service company could not help us, and my parents have held this landline number for over 30 years, so changing it would be too much of a hassle. Going back through every company or organization you are currently dealing with just to change contact details, etc. So we endured and unplugged the phone. But as all things, this too came to an end. Now all the vouchers have either been received or expired. There are no new callers demanding our managers. It is quiet and peaceful again. We have plugged our landline back in. If it ever happens again, perhaps we will start answering every call with "I don't work here, lady." I think though that it will be a while more before we forget what it was like to have our landline become a hotline. Before I let you go away from the heat you just received, I want to thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for liking the video, for commenting, and for subscribing, and even for those who shares the videos. This really helped me a lot and I appreciate what you do for me. All of our efforts will ultimately allow me to make better videos for you. And I have a ton of ideas, but without support, I can't get to this point. I wish you all a beautiful day, and I hope you're doing your best to reach your dreams, live a fulfilled life, have fun, and love the people around you.